Okay, hello everybody, welcome. I hope we're all doing good. Oh god, I've just realised I've been a bit of a bastard. I haven't looked at the comments from yesterday's part yet. Anyway, hello everyone. So, we're going to be continuing along with Living World Season 1 today. And there were a few things I wanted to check out from the previous patch. But also, I kind of just want to charge on ahead with the Tower of Nightmares, so we'll see where we're going. I also did notice, and I guess this is the first thing that really I want to read out, that we got a bunch of mails the very last few moments of the previous part, which kind of introduced us to some other content that came from Season 1, and I've just now realised is not fully folded in. So, here's the situation. Original Season 1 first added the Molten Facility dungeon, but it didn't, have it as a permanent fixture, because the idea of the season was to take things in, bring things in and then remove them, play into fear of missing out, right? So there was technically a dungeon, you've seen it in this playlist, but it was gone. Then they did it again with the Aetherblade hideout. There was also kind of fractals a bit before that. But by the time we got to this point in Season 1, they decided to change tack a little bit, and they added a just straight up normal dungeon path to the game. But instead of having a new dungeon icon and a new area of the world, they chose to overlap it with a pre-existing dungeon, and this is where things get a bit weird. So they picked Twilight Arbor, and Twilight Arbor had three parts. It had the story path, which you've seen in my LP. It had the 3 explorable paths, which as well, if you saw my dungeon series, you would have heard me talking about. There was that one last path. It was very spider themed. And as far as I remember, it wasn't particularly worse than any of the other paths that were in the game. But they deleted it. So we kind of got a new dungeon path, but also they deleted an old one. Even when they weren't just straight up removing things, like with the Molten Facility. Even here, we still had a price to pay, which is a real shame. I mean, why couldn't they have just had 4 paths, you know? Ara had 4 explorable paths. It's very strange to me. I guess maybe they were trying to solve 2 problems at once, fix up kind of a crappy path, and implement a new one at the same time. But so since then, all of the rest of Living World Season 1 left, but the path that got added, Aether Path, stayed. And it's been available for all these years, and it's kind of this weird little glimpse into the middle of a story that was otherwise missing. Now, what have we realised here for the Season 1 reintroduction in 2022? Well, they cut the South Sun stuff, they cut the Zephyrite stuff. Why can I never mouse over this properly? Well, were they going to cut this? I didn't even think about that yesterday, but check this out. We have a mail, and, well, we have a few, actually. This one's here. Well, let's try and do them in order, shall we? Okay, you're introduced to the Jubilee, the portal back door. So here, Lord Farron, we read this one. My friend, though I'm unreservedly in your gratitude and couldn't let your heroic rescue remain unrecognized. I would appreciate your discretion regarding my involvement in this unpleasant affair. Then we got this. 18 hours ago. Until next time, from your new best friend. Who could this be? Well, you certainly earned my attention, Liz. What do they call you? The Commander, was it? What a prestigious title. I've decided to make you my special side project. My dear, I'm reading this terribly. We're going to be seeing much more of each other, so you may as well cozy up and listen. I warned you not to get in my way, but here we are. Next time, I won't be quite so gentle. I simply cannot wait to take you apart and see what makes you tick. Tick, tock, tick. Scarlet. I don't need to hide behind any silly codenames like B anymore, do I? This is quite exciting. It's weird. I don't remember her ever calling herself B. That's such a weird line, actually, because it makes you think of E. But it's funny that E, as far as I've been tracking so far, only had the 1 male, right, so far? Anyway, she sent us this, and it's a gift from Scarlet. Now, I'm going to take this, and when we double-click it, it blows up, and we go downstate, and she laughs. Now, what's kind of funny about that is, on one of my other characters, I believe it's my Mesmer, I saw that that mail was... we were given that mail years ago. And I saw it had that present on there, and I knew it was, really unique. And you'd only get one, ever on your account. So I still have that mail there. I have, a 7-year-old male, 8-year-old male on one of my previous characters that has that present. I guess I can get rid of it now, because I suppose they're infinite at this point, because we can just keep on playing Living World Season 1. But yeah, so Scarlet messaged us. And then we also got this message here from Keith. So if you remember during the personal story, when you hit various level thresholds, they'll give you a mail about a dungeon. And it will have, you know, this icon on it even. Here we get another, and this is quite unique in that way, isn't it? I don't remember ever getting a mail about a dungeon after the personal story is over. I mean, there's one at level 80 leading you to fractals, which I think is super important for new players, for what it's worth. But yeah, Assault on the Aether Blade Stronghold. I've received a disturbing missive from the rogue Sylvari Scarlet. Maybe you've heard of her? She's definitely heard of me, and she's issued me a challenge of sorts. I'm heading to Twilight Arbor to confront her and figure out why she's taken such an interest in my past. I hope you'll join me. If you have any questions, Warden Iden is stationed in the Caledon Forest outside Twilight Arbor. He can update you on the situation inside. So we kind of have a choice now. So basically, ArenaNet did the smart thing, I would say, with this, and that's that they just point you to the dungeon, and hopefully you've learned to pay attention to your mails as you play the game by this point. You should have. I mean, you've done all 80 levels of the personal story where that's a big thing. And now you can go do that. It is technically optional, but that's totally in line with how all the dungeons were handled in the personal story too. They're all technically optional. I would quite like to do it just to remember what kind of like details we get in there. The thing is, I'd need a party, so I don't know. I mean, I'm just randomly throwing this video up. Do you think we can find a pug? If anyone watching live wants to jump in game and throw me a party request, I don't know, mate. That might be asking for a bit much, might it? But perhaps we can actually play this. I mean, it's not too hard at this point with the power creep.
It's nice to see you.
Mind you, there is a bit of a tricky mechanic, isn't there? But we can. Oh wow, we do have someone's watching. Tread carefully. This area is overrun by the Nightmare Court and the Aetherblade Pirates. The Grand Duchess Foulane has abandoned it, but much evil remains. So what's the... wait. Yeah, what are the Aetherblades doing here? I cannot say. A few of my friends went in to discover the Aetherblades' interest here, but they never came out. At the very least, we could listen to the Kaith dialogue, because there's a ton of it at the start. So I'll at least go that far. Oh man, just a weird thing for you guys to know. You know, I mentioned I've been watching Pokemon, like a couple of videos ago. One thing I've done is I'm using an exercise bike while watching TV. So I've got my PC set up to duplicate my my monitor onto a TV, right? Like on the other side of the room. And it's a nice TV. I've had the TV for years and years and years, but I don't really watch very much TV. So I very, very rarely use it. Only if I'm like really trying to indulge in a movie or something. Usually it'll be like, why not watch it on the laptop in bed, or why not, you know, just watch it on the PC. But I realized the TV has really amazing color. And anyway, why I mention it right now is because I was just watching it and I didn't turn it off, so it's actually duplicating Guild Wars at the moment. And Guild Wars looks amazing over there. It's so weird. It is so strange to see. It makes me think I want to improve my monitor or something, because everything else looks so washed out compared to it. I mean, this looks amazing. Anyway, let's listen to Kaith here. Sorry, let's go through. Of course, all the anvils are changed in the dungeons.
I'm sorry, but my orders are clear. The Lion Guard is here to crush Scarlet's minions and derail their plans. The Nightmare Court holds part of this facility, but they're not our problem. Our objective is the Aether Blades. We've got a large strike force standing by, but this security system is damn near impenetrable. I need volunteers to go in and shut down the power so the full Lion Guard contingent can storm the facility. Interested?
Possibly. I have personal business here that takes precedence. But if I can help you achieve your goals, I will.
So, if I remember rightly, the really keen and cool thing about the Kaith story here is, you know, Scarlet is a female Sylvari and is ascending to become a very important character. And, well, we've already had Foulane, and we've already got Kaith. So it's nice to see them interact. You know, that makes me think there's so many, like, just fundamental issues with the story they told in Season 1 to me. One of the things I'm really curious about is Foulane. We all know how the story goes, right? And that Foulane essentially... I mean, do I be spoilery? I'm going to be spoilery, because when skip ahead if someone's watching this who doesn't want spoilers. Ultimately, the story becomes that Foulane falls to the Nightmare, falls to Morgemorth and becomes a pawn on Morgemorth, blah, 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 blah. That means that Foulane ultimately, by the time all's said and done in Heart of Thorns, they don't do anything interesting with Foulane. And it makes me think, well, fuck, why wasn't Scarlet Foulane? You know, why isn't Season 1 the story of Foulane? And it's all the same. It's just it's Fowlane that is committing all this chaos, and it's Fowlane that wakes Morgemoth up, and it's Fowlane we destroy at the end of the season. That would have created a much more cohesive story that ties into the end of the personal story and stuff, and it wouldn't have made Fowlane look like such an odd thing out. It also would have avoided all these issues of them manufacturing a sudden character who's done all this stuff. Anyway, so Fowlane's just like missing here. The whole Nightmare Court stuff's a real shame.
Do you have wisdom to share?
So many weeds for such a small dirt patch. Scarlet's Aether Blades are massing beyond here, and the Nightmare Court is chasing a dark legacy nearby. Which do you want to stop? Well, we're going to do the Aether Blade situation. Scarlet's Sky Pirates carved out a space in this arbor for some nefarious purpose. The Lion Guard is here to stop them, but they need help. Who's Scarlet? She's a chaos walking, bent on disrupting... Sorry, she is a chaos walking, bent on disrupting the world for a twisted enjoyment. She is a chaos walking. That's weird phrasing there. She made a point of provoking me with my own secrets, so I'm here to find out how she knows what she knows. Yeah, this thing, she said... I remember this beat that Fowlane says she knows Kate's secrets, but when did that come up? So why Aether Blades here? Well, they've carved out a space, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So yeah, I guess we won't do it. It was nice to have at least a little bit of company. I guess I'll keep the party open just in case other people want to come while we're in the Tower of Nightmares. But I don't know whether that's, you know, I don't know whether it'll go anywhere. It's the middle of the night. And I have just thrown this up. But let's, yeah, let's just go to the Tower of Nightmares, I guess. I'm curious to see how they do this as well, whether any of the open world stuff's running. Same questions as we had before, really. Thank you very much for the donation, Kabads. The €1.99. Thank you very much. Okay. So I guess we just, I feel a bit weird because I feel like we're skipping some of the side stuff, or maybe we missed some of the, you know, new collectibles and new lore or whatever, but it's fine. Okay, so season 1. As of now, we're on the most recent patch. The Tower of Nightmares. In Keswick's Hills, evil is brewing. Responding to a missive from Casimir, the commander finds the land ravaged by a dark tower looming out of the lake. We get another letter. I mean, Liss's mail, I can only imagine... You know, I've got a bunch of regular mails down here as well. People join the Spud Club, which are like ages old. I can only imagine how stuffed this inbox is at this point. Marjorie Delacroix Investigations. An urgent summons to Keswick's Hills. Liz, Mesmers and other concerned parties have been investigating an anomaly in Keswick's Hills, where something huge and unpleasant is being cloaked from view. We know it's there because invisible walls are blocking access to the centre of Viathan Lake. Casimir is going to attempt a spell that will hopefully lift the veil, and your experience in battle could prove invaluable to us here. Sergeant Walters of the Seraph is heading south from Fort Salma to stand with us again against whatever horrors are revealed by the spell. Please join her and feel free to bring friends. Yeah, so, by the way, I do want to point out, if you think about it, that last patch we played, I did it over 2 days, an hour each. That's a 2-hour patch. That's not bad. That's kind of par for the course for Season 2, which was a jump up. Of course, it doesn't also have all the open world map and repeatable meta and stuff like that you could do after the main story. But still, 2 hours for the main story, that's pretty much in line with where they go. Yeah, okay, so the other thing to know, alright, is in real life, when Season 1 was... On the original timeline, I should phrase it that way. Between these patches, players noticed... Nobody knew where we were going next, but people noticed that trees had started missing in Keswick's, like they'd been getting chopped down. And then later we saw like piles of timber and lumber appearing on the shorelines. And in fact, if I come to this waypoint here, we might even be able to see them. Oh, I just got a real flurry of nostalgia there listening to that music and seeing the Keswick's Hill loading screen. Let's see here. I don't know, they might have removed them. But yeah, they were very sneaky, quiet little updates. And I remember someone noticed it and put like a post out on Reddit or whatever. I think that was the first place I saw. And there was a dev in the Reddit thread who was really excited that someone had noticed. You know, and that stuff's always fascinating to me when the studio adds stuff that's really hidden. And it does take a bit for the player base to notice, you know, and to catch on. Anyway, yeah, so stuff was... lumber was being removed here. Trees were being removed here, and there were lumber piles appearing. And then eventually, yeah, there was kind of a bigger change, and we saw a giant tower appeared. Now, this is one of the weird, rough things about Season 1. It's kind of like the Lion's Arch situation, where anyone new doesn't get to see original Keswick's Hills anymore. You see all the map art here with all this, like, grey smearing and when we look out actually over there. Oh, look, the tower's up. Oh my god, that's so cool. Holy shit. Okay, wait. So it's looked bad to people. Because if you miss the story, then you miss the story. And this is one of those moments where the open world got affected. I cannot believe the tower is there. That is so cool. I've been curious how they'll handle it. Okay, wait. What I need to do here, I got to describe this properly. Let's go to Claypool. Let's leave Queensdale. I can't believe that they've done that. So is that whole thing just phased? So I'm going to quit the Tower of Nightmares. Hopefully that doesn't break anything. It shouldn't. Oh, and I love Claypool too. Do you know what? I honestly... I would love to have a really good reason to just start playing this again as like a totally fresh new RPG experience, but it's just not... It's just not... It's not a game built for that. Such a shame. Okay, so if I don't have the story step on... There you go, look. Okay, this is what general players see, the Broken Tower. Now, earlier in the year, I did a proposal about how I would have Living World Season 1 ideally back in the game, you know. I tried to be realistic in my suggestions. It's become very clear to me, seeing how they've actually done it, that I was not very realistic at all. But one thing I really wanted to see, that I said back then, is I wanted regular Kessiks back. I wanted 2012 Kessiks back. So all this shit that you see all over the floor here, it would be nice if we weren't loading into this, if we were loading in with the original fields that were here and, you know, there wasn't a crash tower. Because unfortunately there is a bit of a rough thing here where, let's say you go get your mum into the game tomorrow. She's going to play it, she's going to understand, she's going to see the broken tower.
The centaurs and crate won't
she's going to beat the game, and then she's going to come back and the tower's up, and it's going to be a bit weird. Anyway, I've got to see. Does this require a map reload? Because this is my thing. No, it doesn't even require a map reload. Look at that. That's so cool. Oh, but when we turn it off, it does.
More dangerous up ahead. Let's take it slow.
Okay, that's interesting. So now we're off, but that's very cool. I'm gonna do it one more time. Oh, maybe. Hold on, let's see. Maybe I'm talking shit. Dun, 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 dun. I'm getting a real kick out of this character select, by the way, just because I've been so distant from the game. I don't know, I can't remember which character hasn't beaten the game. What about this guy? I don't think I beat it on this thief. Okay. Let's see. Oh, he doesn't have a personal story there. My story. What the hell? I beat it on this guy? Oh, see, I made all these changes to my characters, like who was supposed to be the right character for the right job. And I really don't remember what I was deciding. Let's just pick someone low level, shall we? This guy. Let's pick actual WoodenPotatoes. This is a character I made with this character name because years ago I wasn't using... Where's he standing? Okay, look, he's standing here to open this chest on repeat. Oh, maybe not actually. This is the start of Waydens. I don't know why he's here. Alright, like, so for example, this is all he's done. It's because I only have him to reserve the name. Because, like, years ago, someone else took the name WoodenPotatoes, I guess, just for the novelty, because a YouTuber had it. But people would try to send me, like, items and stuff. And back then, for years and years and years, I never accepted anything off of anyone. Now it's a bit different because of, like, Spud and whatever, but this guy, I was never sure if this guy was just taking those mails. and it was just a bit odd. So I messaged him and he said, oh, I'm sorry that I did that, and he just gave the name back, which was nice. Well, not back, he just gave it to me, and then I built this guy. Who's apparently... What is this armor? Isn't this the glorious armor? Isn't this from PvP? It's beatable. So we're gonna... So the point is, if I've thrown the conversation off here, the point is what I want to check is on a character that has no story at all, do I see the tower up? That's what I want to see. I want to see that tower up there. And then hopefully when we beat the Living World Season 1 stuff for the first time, the tower goes away for good. That would be the a good middle ground. It wouldn't be the dream. The dream would be true original Kessex, but having the tower up is pretty goddamn good as well. You know, you don't need to have 3 versions of it. So let's just see. And I'm not clicking that level up reward because well, actually we're only level 6. There you go. So what else happened with the level thing? Wasn't there an XP bump? I really need to go back and read the with the Steam release. I need to go back and read what else they did. They did accelerate the leveling, didn't they? If I remember rightly. Which again, I'm somewhat okay with. Oh no, it's the crash tower. Oh, that's a shame. This goddamn Lion's Arch music. Even with this time away, I'm still not desensitized to this music. I still wish it would go away. Oh, that's such a shame. The tower should be up right now. You know, its default state should be up until you're on a character that's flagged as having beaten
off of my
step.
And we will get this done.
It's like they've got it reversed. Right now it's always off unless you're on the step, but it should be the other way. Well, sort of. Alright, well, whatever. I'm glad I experimented with that. You need to do some achievements that give a lot of XP. Oh, the new XP is purely from achievements. That's not so good. Doesn't that mean that they're once ever? Okay. So, oh, we need to actually turn the goddamn thing on. Oh yeah, we get the animation. Here we go. Watch it again. This is like the thrill I get from guild halls. You know what? I don't want to sound like a whiner, but it's a little bit smaller than I remember. You know what? I think that probably comes down to how big the scale of all the maps have become since then. Like, it's just become so massive everywhere you go, Heartthorns onwards. But this was really epic in the past. Oh my god, the music cue. So can we not swim there now? I mean, this is such an interesting thought. What if I was standing in there and then I toggled it on? What would have happened? I love how it all has physics and everything. This is great audio. This is definitely very cool. This is one of the most impressive moments I've had with the reintroduction of Season 1. It really is like we're back, you know. Obviously we can descend as well. We'll just end up going a bit slower. So the other side of this is the wait, are we in it now? Oh god, this is claustrophobic. The other side of this is the interior was technically an open world like Zerg Rush map. Polluted lake fish. We can fish under here. That's funny. Obviously, that came in with End of Dragons and is not something special they've just done for this. Oh god, I got to figure out how the hell to get out now. I feel very much like I wasn't supposed to get in here. But I guess it's fine, right? If we want to do the heart with the debris and stuff. Yeah, that would be another tricky element, I think, to what I proposed a second ago, that there are the hearts in the area. Right, let's get out. I think this looks cool even underwater with the bubble aqua breather and all that. It's kind of tricky to see, but it was on our head. Okay, so we're going to come over here. Now, once upon a time, this was all open world. There was like a group up by a tent here. I don't know whether they're going to throw us into an instance now, though. Or what exactly they're going to do. Damn, I'm EU and you wanted to come support? Yeah, sorry, I forgot to even say that. Yeah, I guess I'm on EU at the moment. And most people in EU are going to be in bed. Or, you know, getting ready to go to work. One of the two. Okay, so the Nightmare Unveiled. Oh, we do have another person. Yeah, if we get just one more person, we can probably do the dungeon. But let's see this. You guys are welcome to come in if you want for the story.
is that?
Well, it looks very impressive here, doesn't it, at least?
I have orders to see you to the ruins of Aldred Wharf. Marjorie and Casimir went on ahead of us. Let me know when you're ready, and we'll set off after them.
Okay, so maybe this wasn't all open world. Maybe this always was an instance. Miss Delacroix and Lady Mead are set up and ready to go.
What is all this stuff in the air?
Oh, by the way, Marjorie's inclusion in the Jubilee stuff was pretty good there, because it kind of, as I mentioned, it sort of bridged the gap a bit when she wasn't there before, I think. I very much distinctly remember when this first came out feeling like, oh, Marjorie and Casimir are back, because we hadn't seen them for ages, you know? I know in this playlist it's going to feel like it was quite recent, but
Hope those two have learned something worthwhile by now.
with the whole Zephyrite arc and stuff in there too, I don't know, I feel like they'd been distant for a while. What are we up against? We don't know much yet. Miss Delacroix asked us to wait here for you. She and Lady Mead went to Aldred Wharf. We're guessing that Crate are involved since this is a known Crate Deeps area. Remember what I said in the last part about how we kept getting new factions and new factions and new factions, and it was pleasant to see the Aether Blades continue? Well, there's one more new faction to introduce, and they kind of lean into it, which I think is quite good. Why didn't we know about that tower? The Crate and their allies used a massive illusion to hide it from view. That's all I can tell you. That kind of magic is beyond my ability to understand. I'm just a simple soldier. Lady Mead could tell you more. I think this is the first time where we hear about, like, the mesmer. There's, like, a group of powerful mesmers that can... I think Lady Casimir was meant to be one of them that could disenchant the field or something. And they don't really mention them again afterwards.
Okay, let's move!
But we'll see.
Move in a group. There's too few of us to accomplish anything by ourselves.
You know, I've been praising this.
Heads up! We need that bridge to reach our people!
In a lot of ways, you know, when the Season 1 patches do feel a bit minimal or don't go as far as maybe I would have liked, I can at least console myself that what's probably happening here in 2022 is right as we speak, ArenaNet themselves are going really heavy on Season 6, right? Oh yeah, we get to stomp. I really think PvE stomping should be embraced as a mechanic here. And look, there's even money in it. They can sell finishes to more people. Oh, we do have another person. Look how cool that is. Yeah, so I can kind of console myself. Even maybe they didn't go too hard, because the truth is they're going hard on the post-End of Dragon story. The vampire storyline. Or whatever it's going to be. And that's pretty exciting. And yeah, if people in the live chat know that I'm about to miss something new or something interesting, I will try to keep my eye on it, especially when I'm not ranting away and we're just in combat.
That's the last of them. Well fought, everyone. What could the Nightmare Court and the Crate possibly have in common? Their toxic new alliance is obviously the source of the strangeness happening here. What are they planning? Answers will have to wait. Form up on me and we'll cross this bridge and press forward.
I've always
Okay,
liked...
let's move!
In Season 2, you get to see a bit of all the alliances that Scarlet was going to try out. And there's a lot of really cool ones that they didn't go with in the end. But I think this was always a good one.
Here's someone to test my poisonous new cocktail on.
Well, actually, maybe not. I kind of don't like the idea that Scarlet can manipulate the Nightmare Court. It sort of puts her on a power level beyond Foul Lane and stuff, and it makes the Nightmare Court look like mindless minions. I can buy the Crate being manipulatable mindless minions, but the Nightmare Court, their objective and their ideal in the universe is quite a sophisticated thing.
What's going on? No, I'm all right. Wait, you're no centaur. Oh, gods, forgive me. I wasn't in my right mind. Forget about me. Just get to Marjorie and Casimir. Protect them.
So, in another way, I kind of think maybe the Nightmare Court should have stayed out of this. Also, it's actually, especially they should have stayed out of it, because we're talking about Morgemoth here, right? We're talking about something really big to do with the Sylvari, so you're just going to have them a fraction of one of multiple, you know, alliances? Like, it feels weird. You know, I thought you were the enemy. I don't know what happened. Please accept my apology. Oh yeah, so something else that was going on with this patch, I was wondering if they'd do this. ArenaNet played with a new concept here for giving people new skills. Nowadays, we're all familiar with elite specializations, and that's the format in which new skills are added. But they had another idea, which was that, so you get this toxin on you here, this toxic pollen, there was a special new heal skill that they added to the game, which would heal you and cleanse that pollen as well. It was profession agnostic, so everyone got it, so it was kind of boring. And overall, it wasn't that strong, and it was a bit of a weak experiment, to be honest. And I think it was, I don't know, I feel a bit weird about that ever coming in the game, because it kind of betrays what little of a sense they had for the kind of updates people were looking for. But anyway, yeah, there was a halt for a good while. Right up to Heart of Thorn's launch, maybe longer than that. There was a whole extra skill that people had, the anti-toxin spray. And it got removed. It took a long time to get removed too, as far as I remember. It was probably years ago now. But you got it from this patch, and even within this patch, I didn't feel like it was that useful. I think they were quite, you know, conservative about the balancing of the thing, because they didn't want people to feel forced to have it during the patch. But I mean, even if they're going to do it that way, then the skill may as well not exist. Because even when you're surrounded by toxic stuff, you still don't feel the need to use it. Well, when are you ever going to? This is actually a lengthier mission than I was expecting. Oh, they respect the heal skill, do they? Interesting. It got removed in the specialization update pre-Heart of Thorns. Really? That's a lot earlier than I thought. It would make sense for it to be removed there, though. That was such a huge patch for so many things. I can't remember why, but I was doing quite a lot of research into old patches a while ago. And over and over and over and over again, I'd be like looking at something like, oh, when did this sigil change happen? Or when did this, you know, Condi stacking change happen? Or when did this get introduced? Or when did this get introduced? And over and over and over again, I would just get bounced back to that same patch, that specialization patch, over and over and over. Here you go. So this visual here, this was all very new and very novel at the time. I think we're mostly used to it now because of like Path of Fire with the aboggers and stuff. But this was the origin of it. Mentioning Path of Fire and the aboggers there makes me remember I don't have my super custom arc DPS that shows all the incoming damage and stuff. Which is something I really like about the game. So it shows you a lot of special enemy skill names you normally would miss out on completely. Well done. Man, I'm going to keep talking about gross burps in this series, apparently. It's just burped again. Today what I had, it wasn't coffee, it wasn't lemonade. I'll give you guys a log of my food consumption around these videos, shall I? Okay, so today it was cheese on toast. So you can imagine the little burp on that one. Oh, we've missed an enemy? Locate Marjorie and Casimir somewhere near the wharf. Presumably within this ring. Well, no, they're following me. Do I just need to press F? Lady Casimir and I are going over to the camp at Thunder Ridge. Collect samples of spores, please, and bring them to me. What kind of toxin is it? It's too early to tell, but it's obviously in the air. Symptoms reported include dizziness, disorientation, even hallucinations. Not to mention coughing and sneezing. It's insidious. Liz, perfect timing, just like at Dragon Bash. I couldn't have hidden us much longer. I was already drained from bringing down the tower veil. It was quite a powerful mesmer spell. So I seem to... Why do I remember that happening in a cutscene? Don't I... was that the trailer for the patch where you see the veil come down? I remember there were two actually, weren't there 3 patches around this? There were 2 big trailers I remember. One of them had the metal music because of the competition they were doing that everyone bagged on real hard. I don't know, I feel like I remember her actually taking the veil down. My lady, do you know what's happening? It's so weird hearing the commander say, my lady. Nothing good. The sky is a sickly hue. The water smells like moldy cheese. And there are crate and nightmare court everywhere. Talk to Marjorie over there. She has a plan. Yeah, well, so whatever. Did it bug? What kind of... Well, she's telling us to collect toxins. So maybe just in the area there's something I can interact with. I certainly don't see anything. Are people talking in party chat by any chance? Player chat? Oh, I have a message. Oh, thanks very much. I don't know. Did we bug it somehow? Obviously, the ultimate route is to get into the tower. See, also, this thing of collecting the toxins and stuff, I feel like I remember that being a thing over here at the camp, Thunder Ridge itself. Oh, wow. By the way. Oh, no, we started here. I was going to say, are they doing that dynamic boundary thing from Path of Fire? I'll ask my party members. Bugged thoughts? I do like the suggestion of these buildings. I don't know whether original Kessex had these as buildings. This here in particular, this vista we're looking at here, this was one of my favourite shots from the original trailer. It's this exact view. And it was back when, before this tower arc, this is all fresh green hills and the camera's just zooming along. And it gave me a sense of Tyria as this massive open world without loading screen boundaries and just... Oh, there was such a crazy, thrilling sense of like what it would feel like to explore Tyria from that one shot in the trailer. And nowadays, I have all the context of the rest of the knowledge of how the rest of the game works, and it's gone. And even visually, it's gone. So, but it's a shot where they were tracking through a grass field, and the sun sets, and it becomes dark. So I think what they were really showing was the day-night cycle, like an active one. Guild Wars 1 had day and night, but it wasn't dynamic. Okay, so I haven't got a clue. Think so, unless you wanna try rewalking into a circle. So everyone out and everyone back in, maybe. This guy here, an immortal siren, has some kind of effect as they walk around that looks like the dropped loot effect, which is interesting. It looks like everyone's leaving, so let's just reset the instance. That's a shame. You wouldn't want any bugs, not really, but there you go. Okay, let's go back in then. We're going to have all 5 this time. You're obsessed with looking into historical skills and traits from the demos and betas, the wikis of Trevor. Oh, yeah, for sure. You and I are very, very kindred spirits then, if that's how you feel. I love doing that stuff. I just...
What is that?
Let's mute their dialogue while we catch up. I just have this real thing where that sense of what the game could have been back then. I'm not saying that what Guild Wars 2 became ultimately was bad or anything. I think no matter what decisions anyone ever made, it always would have never would have been exactly what your initial imagination would have been. But it's like a whole different product to me. And I do love those out. I have a personal drive where I've gathered as much footage and stuff as I can find on YouTube and wherever else of early game stuff, because yeah, the wiki's pretty good, but it's like only a tiny fraction of the story. What you really want is all those old shaky cam convention demo footage from various fans. You know, back at the original Gamescom in 2010, the PAX events afterwards, there was a good French event as well at one point. And just gathering as much of that as possible, because so much of that footage gets lost as those YouTube accounts disappear and, you know, copyright strikes appear or whatever. And it's not like it's mine to redistribute or show. I just like having my own personal thing of it. You know, record of various things. But it is, to put a real point on it though, I do think, and it's not that I'm petitioning for change or anything with this, but I do think it is very unfortunate that Guild Wars became such an account-bound game, because you can't recapture that initial adventure. Like I was saying just a second ago when I got nostalgic standing around in Queensdale, it's like, oh yeah, I kind of want to go on an adventure again, but without playing on a totally new account, and at that point it's like, well, why? What's so fun about it? You just don't get that, you know? And I think MMOs are better when they are about that. Okay, so we get this lady. It's interesting doing this along with Jade bots as well, you know? I mention this all the time, but it's like, whenever I see stuff like this, you know, like a Jade bot or a new Elite spec taken into old content, it always reminds me of Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers on PlayStation 2 and Xbox Original Only, where the game was split into 3, like the storyline was split into 3 campaigns. There was the Frodo and Sam campaign, there was the Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli campaign, and what was the last one? Was there a Gandalf storyline? I guess maybe there was a Gandalf storyline or something. Anyway, what was cool about it is once you beat the game and once you got far enough, like if you beat the Sam and Frodo stuff, you could take Sam onto one of the other adventures, for example, and it would feel really weird and out of place, but it's like, hey, that's fun. And I think Faramir was like a hidden character and stuff as well. And I just love that, and that's what I feel like when I see a Jade bot participating in the fight at the Tower of Nightmares. You love that game? Yeah, it's a very good game, wasn't it? You know, I haven't played too many just straight up, like, action. Like, I don't even know if I'd call that an RPG, really, right? It's just an action hack-em-up kind of game, right? I haven't played too many of them, but that was one that I did very, very much enjoy. A more recent game that I wish I'd paid more attention to was Shadow of Mordor. I heard that in Shadow of Mordor, they have a mechanic in that. I don't know how true this is. This is kind of, I heard it, probably, this might be Chinese whispers or something. But I believe it's in, and I might even be thinking about the wrong game, but in Shadow of Mordor, there's this thing where, like, random enemies you find on the field can be generals or commanders or something, and if they beat you, they'll, like, rank up. Like, basically what the game's doing is it's simulating a full, like, enemy ranking system where there's, like, commanders and stuff that all have certain echelons and power levels and stuff. And anyway, it's kind of just a bit of texture to what's going on. But why it's really important to know about for the game industry, and again, I'm totally wrong about this, but I believe it's the first and possibly only ever example of an individual game mechanic being copyrighted. I'm sure this is the thing about it, that they managed to copyright that one idea. So other games can't come along and be like, oh, this was cool, we're gonna take this, we're gonna adapt it, we're gonna innovate. That's it. It exists only in Shadow of Mordor, and they're not even doing anything with it now. So it's just like this dead idea. I'm sure there's something about that. Maybe someone can round that out in the live comments, and I'll say it out loud for everyone else's benefit later on. But I'm sure I heard of that, and it's just like the craziest thing. So copyright an individual mechanic. There we go. We've beaten it, and the dialogue.
Back in camp, we can pass on what we've learned about the tower, then rest.
Rest? I hardly think we'll get any.
Oh, there you go. It's the Nemesis system, and it was in Shadow of War as well.
Beneath us, in our long shadow.
Dude, this is cool. The Eratus.
While our toxins rend your minds, our blades will carve out your hearts.
The crate always sound good.
I will rend your mind.
I had a lot of fun grabbing like dialogue of theirs to put in the Solaris mod. Yeah, the Nemesis system. Yeah, I'm not talking total shit. That was a thing. I don't know whether can someone clarify if that really is the only example of a copyrighted feature? You wish we could play as a crate? Oh yeah, I mean, in a lot of
Our alliance gives us the power to scale the heavens themselves.
That's such an important thing for Guild Wars. In a lot of ways, I think you can look at Guild Wars and you can say it's
As
cooked.
I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, with that tower looming over us, our odds of finding rest are slim to none.
I wish you'd go back to Divinity's Reach.
Even slimmer odds of that. Perhaps we should bring our friends up to speed on what's been happening.
That tower was veiled with illusion magic.
Oh, this is the
until
cutscene I
just a
remember.
short while ago.
Oh,
I
this
found
is it,
the
yeah.
perfect spell. It was luck, really.
Oh, here we
It was
are.
fantastic. The sky darkened and
I could sense the magical framework. A mesmer had formed the illusion.
she just closed her eyes and raised her hands toward it. Magic crackled from her fingertips.
I found the crack in its cloak. A magical poke in the right place, and it dropped
Like a Norn fart at a moot.
What is that line?
So when the veil came down, there it was. The tower.
And the crate. And the Nightmare Court.
They weren't happy. Still aren't.
There you go. That's vaguely in my memory. Again, I think that's one of those like lost cutscenes. I don't believe you could find that very easily online beforehand.
We need to deal with this tower. The question is how. It looks impregnable.
Appearances are everything, Jory. If it looks like a fortress, it undoubtedly guards something precious.
I'd welcome the chance to look inside it, but the base is thick with toxic spore clouds.
Maybe we need a strong perfume, like what I spray on a hanky when around, aromatic warriors.
She's a real lady in these early
I
story
know
steps.
poisons. I'm sure I could formulate an antitoxin if I had samples of the spores.
Casimir really comes across very differently, and it's not that it's bad either, actually. I don't know whether we really have a representative of that kind of archetype in the game anymore. I think I prefer her like this. She's much more accented, you know. The Nightmare Unveiled. Yeah, on the playable crate thing, in a lot of ways I think you can look at Guild Wars and say, okay, it's been a lot of years, we've had enough elite specs, we've had enough this, enough that. You know, I think a lot of people, whether they realize it or not so much, are losing inspiration on like fun things the game can do. But I still think the new race thing is a treasure trove of exciting and inspirational and cool ideas. And I think the more casual the fan is, the more enthusiastic they'll be about that as well, which is actually an important thing to realize, because casual fans will bring in the most money. But yeah, I think that's still a really playable crate specifically. I don't know about really, because they're just straight up evil. You know, they're so much of this world was constructed to be a little bit grey, you know, a little bit, oh, are the Dredge really bad? You know, they've been oppressed in the past, they've had this, they've had that. But the crate were deliberately made to be just like, no, these guys are just fucking evil. So I don't know whether you'll ever play as crate. But yeah, playable races or like subclasses of races and stuff like that, I'm still a big champion of that stuff. I think it would all be really good. And I know people saying, hey, it doesn't affect combat, so why? There's more to the game than combat. Anyway.
Hey, sugar.
Hey, sugar. Lady Casimir and I are going to the camp at Thunder Ridge. I don't know why she has absolutely no, like, oomph in her voice. Collect samples of the spores, please, and bring... Yeah, okay, fine, whatever. You've told me this multiple times.
How pleasant to see you.
Hello. This perfect timing, just like at Dragon Bash. I couldn't have hidden us much longer. I was already drained from bringing down the Tower Veil, and it was quite a powerful mesmer spell. This is interesting as well, because Casimir's not been really introduced as particularly competent in any way. Oh, the first hiccup. And then she brings down this big thing. My lady, do you know what is happening? Nothing good. The sky is a sickly hue, and the water smells like mouldy cheese. Okay, yeah. We've read that so many times, it's unreal. Okay, so we're done. Everyone else has already buggered off out of the instance. It's now been 10 years. You never made a thief because you wanted thief to be your main. You was waiting until they released Tengu. Yeah, I haven't been following the community discourse for a while, obviously. I'm curious how people are reflecting on the Tengu thing now. My instinct is to say nobody talks about it at all anymore. But I think that was a massive disappointment about End of Dragons, and there's no other way of getting around it, right? It was... all those people who said, oh, I don't want to fish and I don't want to skiff, I want a fucking Tengu. I think they had a bit of a point, right? Okay, here we go. So this is what I remember. Even with the gold icon and everything.
Go on back to Divinity's Reach, where it's safe.
You're sweet, but I couldn't leave you here alone.
I'll be fine, Cupcake. Go on now.
Go on,
I don't
man.
think so. I would, but to be honest, I'm itching to see what's in that tower. I think I'll stay.
If you insist.
Oh, hello again. You and I seem attracted to trouble, don't we? I like that about us. Nice work exposing that tower. I never could resist peeking under the wrapping to spoil a surprise. And that tower's a huge surprise.
We should head down there.
What's your hurry? Let them clear it out a bit first.
This whole place has mesmer magic woven through it. I don't want to miss a single thing.
I see. Curiosity killed the cat, you know.
Meow.
Oh, these lines are so campy. It's just, the tone is so wild.
Great bait.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, no. I was just imagining you going into that tower.
The problem here with their dialogue rolling is this isn't like later where I can trust it will stop. It might just fire really
Do you
quick.
think they've caught Scarlet yet?
Doubt it. She's slicker than an ooze in oil.
I still can't believe she got so deep past the Seraph and the Shining Blade.
Case in point.
Yeah, so no one expected they could work together like this. Why are you and Marjorie still here?
I've been thinking about Scarlet.
We should just
She
wait.
can't have you.
She's behind all these crazy alliances. I'd rest my reputation. Wait, what did you say?
I think you're right. She has all the landmarks of a blooming psychohack.
Looming psycho hag. Wait for it. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Marjorie,
Oh.
Yes,
if we don't make it out,
we will. Promise.
Not even 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. Oh, she's leaving. Okay, I think we're good now. She stepped away. That's my little signifier. I like all those little details like that. They're so easy to miss in the game. Okay, no one expected this. Why are you two still here? Well, Jory's researching an elixir to counteract the toxins coming from that nightmare of a tower. I'm sure she'd welcome your help. She brought her Mendel weapons, so I know she's worried. Her Mendel weapons? Oh, Liz can ask. It's a long story, but back when Marjorie was a ministry guard, she saw a boy get killed. His ghost spoke to her and asked her to take his weapons into her custody. They held some significance for him. What significance? I don't know, but now they held significance for her. They're sharp as dragon's teeth. When she brings them, she knows we may have to fight. That's crazy. I forgot all about this. I mean, I know. Look, I remember. Okay, so for people that don't know, there's a short story on the wiki, which again, you know, ArenaNet has wiki integration. They should have gone a little bit further to like, let me press F on something and read Marjorie's story here. Why can't I do that? That would be so useful for people. But if you read Marjorie's story, I've read it out 1,000 times online. I'm not going to do it again. You know, that's like the introduction to E. Marjorie's on the case of the ministry guard, and there's a murder, and then E appears. I didn't remember the word Mendel appearing in the short story, nor this thing about the recovered weapons. That's really interesting, because in Season 2, obviously, Marjorie gets another weapon, and that kind of becomes a big thing. I wonder if we'll see these come back later. I like knowing that they've re-implemented this in 2022, because it gives me a bit of hope that they might see some of these details and be like, oh yeah, let's do that in Season 6. Let's pick that up in Season 6. Can I trade extra samples for supplies? Okay, what have we got? Sigil of Torment. I already know all the recipes, I guess, from years ago. Oh, I don't know this one, though. I don't know the Toxic Sharpening Stone recipe, which is crazy, because I swear that's a really good one. It's only 250 pristine plus a gold. I'm going to buy it. I know someone watching this will be like, no, that's not right. You should have done something else, but that's fine. We've also got Marjorie's experimental chili, which I'd need another 250 for. Okay, and then you got the 3 keys. The idea was you'd climb the tower each day, and you'd get like a key piece, and then on the 3rd day you combine them together and open the chest, or something like that. Oh, and the finisher too. Okay. What else can I do? Cut down the toxic offshoots. Speak to Arcanist Dolger. I hear she's looking to the crate angle on the list. Okay. And that chopper sound effect. It's quite cool to see other players here, but of course this is the current patch we're on now. As behind as I feel, and as guilty as I feel and all this stuff, we're already here. I'm gathering information for Marjorie about the crate's involvement. What have you learned? Well, the crate are notorious xenophobes. We search for the motive behind this inconceivable alliance and strongly suspect that Scarlet offered the crate shards of an obelisk in exchange for their participation. Why are obelisk shards important? We know that the obelisks are reportedly the crate's most sacred and powerful objects. They've seldom been seen by outsiders, but we need to learn more about their magical importance in a hurry. This is another thing. It's like you really have to go to the wiki and look at the pre-release race articles to learn as much as you can about the obelisks. I remember in Season 1 thinking that they were going to expand this into a big storyline, and they really didn't. And then thinking for years that it was going to be, you know, the Deep Sea Dragon expansion would be all about it. And then they didn't, so who knows? But this is what I mean, you know, here in 2022, the laws sort of come back a bit, so maybe they will do something in Season 6. Where can I find obelisk shards? Search for them in and around the crate deeps. Our fellow scholars report that the crate also appeared to be transporting them on their person throughout Tyrian waters. I don't remember what that mechanic is she's talking about. Literally elsewhere in the world. I hate to say I told you so, but I told them sometimes you have to let sleeping moss hearts lie. Now that we've poked the hive, it's going to get ugly. Man, look at all the content that's here. I cannot believe we're almost up an hour already. I haven't been procrastinating. We had a bug, sure, but Jesus Christ, we haven't even got in. Agent Frovic. I'll tell you one thing, we won't be sneaking in until we find a way past that thick, poisonous fog. Frontal assault hasn't worked. Look at those vines. I know, they spread faster than the script. How can we fight that? I sent Anik back to the headquarters to get reinforcements. I hope she makes it back in time. I don't know. I've got reports coming in about spore clouds. Spotted. Oh, I'm reading so badly now. Spotted far and wide. People are getting sick, hallucinated. I don't like it. What's being done about it? Locals are battling as best they can, cutting down the flowers growing from these spreading spores. If we don't get this under control, all of Tyria could be overgrown with toxic plants. Oh, and Bram's here too, just hanging out, and Rox. It's weird how the two groups sort of aren't together, but they're just near each other. How about that Scarlet, huh? I'd love to get my hands around her neck. I'm sick of running after her like a puppy after a squirrel. We need a plan. You're right, we need to get the upper hand. To track your prey, you first need to understand how it thinks. We need to learn more about her. So what do you know about Scarlet? I know she's real smart. She's studied with plenty of powerful magic users of all types. But I know she's I also know she's real crazy. I heard a rumor she killed her last mentor. Is this new? Are Rox and Bram in this patch new? It seems to me like this would be kind of easy to drop in like Marjorie at the end of the last release.
Good to see you.
I don't remember them having an involvement here before, but I like the idea of dotting them in just to feel like the group's coming together. She almost did it this time. The toxic spores are still spreading. Looks like new ones are growing from root runners. This may not be over yet. You ready to do something about it? Ready when you are. What do you know about Scarlet? She's an engineer, good with iron and gears, and she's no slouch with magic either. That's a dangerous combination. Alright, let's at least get in. You want to head into the Tower of Nightmares. Warning, choosing yes will redirect you to content that contains spoilers related to Chapter 4 of Season 1, Episode 4, The Tower of Nightmares. What is this? So, hold on, we're in the open world and a random player might find that. Confront the Toxic Alliance's massive structure and conquer the enemies within. Public. So this is like a, what do they even call them? It's not like a strike mission. What's like the marionette type feature? Oh my god, okay, so... Wait, I'm on my own?
Do you have a moment?
Oh crap, I love how well optimized it is in here. How long is this? I mean, if this is super long, we should do it in the next part. Be careful out there, Commander. This is the only waypoint we were able to set up for the Seraph. You can access it without the quest step. That's interesting. Be careful. We appreciate the priority's help. And any way to get higher up quickly? I sent out golems to serve as beacons to portal to, but they're all reporting offline. Yeah, is this just you got to get all the way to the top? Oh, it's about 40 minutes. Let's do it tomorrow then. Let's do it in the next part. If it's going to be 40 minutes, we can just get in there right at the start. I feel bad, man. We got a whole party of 5. We could have gone and done the dungeon as well. But it is what it is. So there you go. That'll be our adventure for next time, guys. Thanks everyone who came. Thanks everyone who came and party. I know this was a bit short and a bit, you know, I hope it was rewarding in some way. But yeah, so thank you everybody. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back tomorrow. We also seem to have some kind of bot in chat, and I've got to figure that out. Find your love here. Yeah, we'll figure it out. So thanks, guys. I hope you have a great day. If you want to fill me in on anything that I missed, let me know. I'll see you next time.